Hello, I am back. I have coffee and I'm gonna keep going wherever the fuck I left it yesterday. Just gonna do probably a couple more sketches before I move on to maybe some cleanup. Really need to optimize my training setup because it always takes me so long to just start. Probably multi-streaming doesn't help in that regard. Spam bots on Kick are so diligent. If only everything else in the world was this efficient. already done something like this, so probably it's better if I try something different. Mm. Probably, I know I'm not gonna go with this one. It doesn't make much sense to keep going with it. But I do want to try and resolve some parts before moving on. Just for the sake of practice. It has to be super efficient. Yours could be bigger. It kind of works better than I expected. That is something. Something else similar to this. What am I gonna do with the hair in this pose? No, it has to go this way. It go above. It could go here. It doesn't look terrible. I go up here. Follow this curve. And I'm starting to see the appeal of actually doing this type of work. Because the design is already solved for you. So all you have to focus on is solving the problems of the pose, or where are you going to put all the little patterns and designs that make the character look like the character. Instead of having to solve everything at once, like I usually do. It's interesting. This is one of those things that you don't know if you're gonna like it until you do it. Okay, I think now on this in Photoshop and probably try to refine some of them. Coffee is cold. Save these. All right, let's switch to Photoshop. Here we have the same file in Photoshop, and I'm going to just go with the first one because I feel like it's the most straightforward. Probably gonna make a new file. Resize this a little bit. And something I like to do is especially for this type of art is just to check for the graphic read of things. So I'm gonna basically before I do any cleanup in the line art, I'm gonna do a sort of mask, and then I'm gonna shape carve that because I want the shapes to read nicely before I bother too much with the line art. So I can probably change some of the proportion issues I'm seeing already. Probably make the character a little bit shorter. His head can be bigger. I think the ears could also benefit from being slightly bigger. Basically, I'm going to use the lasso and grab a color that stands out. And fill everything up with just pure shape. Doesn't have to be super clean, it's not a mask yet. That's the way to work graphically. This is probably hard to see on the stream because I'm just using the lasso tool, so you don't really get to see what's going on. But in a way, even at this stage, I'm already refining the drawing because I'm not just blindly tracing what I've done in the sketch. So every time I see an opportunity to change a shape or move something, it's more like I'm redrawing with the lasso. It's like an extra step of refining the sketch. a pretty common mistake among beginners and also like more advanced artists, that is just treat every step of the process, whatever it is your process, you treat it like it's just set in stone. And it's not really the case. Just because I made something in the sketch, it doesn't mean it has to show in the final. Everything is just an iteration process. Lucor, why do you use two apps just to draw? I'm curious. Well, it's just to keep it fun. Like most of the sketches and drawings I've been doing on the stream, I'm using Krita, basically because I find it fun because of the chrome brush. It's like this particular brush that gives like this look to things, and it's just a lot of fun to use. And this brush only exists inside Krita, as long as as far as I know. So yeah, I'm just been using it lately because it's fun, but I'm not super familiar with Krita and everything else. So my main software for many years has been Photoshop. So when it comes to refining and editing and resizing, canvas management, layer management, different effects, I'm a lot more familiar with Photoshop. So that's why I keep switching from one to the other. Basically, I treat Krita like it's my sketchbook, like my pen and paper where I just sketch my ideas, and then Photoshop is my work tool. It's wherever I go when I want to do the heavy lifting. I could probably just learn how to do all those things inside Krita because I know it's really powerful, but I don't know. At this point, I feel like it's more efficient to me to just use whatever I know how to use when I need it. Hello, Vi, or V. I think you like to be called V. How's it going? Rita, you can customize it however you want. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I should probably just take some time and learn about how to customize everything and how to make it work for me. I feel like in the sense of like photo editing and file management, Photoshop is still a lot more efficient. Like the brush engine is not that good in Photoshop, but like having multiple files and resizing things, cutting and pasting, it's a lot better. How do you feel with a hotkey? In Photoshop, I press Alt and the backspace key whenever you make a selection. Select something with the lasso and then hold Alt and backward key, and that's gonna fill with whatever color you have in the foreground, which in this case is this red. And I think if you hold Control and yeah, and the delete key, like the back key, you're gonna fill with whatever you have in the background color. So that's pretty handy for just filling areas and dealing with shapes. And then also if you just press the delete key, you just erase whatever you have. So it's a really fast way rather than going and grabbing the bucket or something like that. Yeah. He is saying it's been okay, very stressful these days. How about your day? It's a pretty chill day. I stayed up yesterday pretty late, just working on these sketches. And now I just woke up and I was like, heck, let's keep going. Let's give it a little bit of consistency. But yeah, I'm glad to be going back to my sketching and streaming routine. Because whenever I take time off from streaming, it's kind of hard to go back into the habit. But the moment I start doing it again, it's really easy to just keep going. But I'm gonna completely remove the initial sketch and I'm just gonna work on the silhouette, as in trying to find things that work or don't work purely from an abstract shape design point of view. I find like this really helpful, and usually when I'm doing this type of art, I keep switching from line art to silhouette and to silhouette to line art, so I keep updating both. Because if I just focus on the line art, I'm gonna focus on the quality of the lines, and then I'm gonna get weird things like you see this broken shape that it's like we have a double curve, like it goes this way and this way, and it creates like an awkward thing. So I feel like I'd rather just change all these and turn it into a simplified curve for the sake of readability. And all these things are a lot easier for me to notice when I'm just working with a pure silhouette. If I was just working with a sketch and lines, I'm going to be worried about making every line work and, you know, perfectly tracing whatever I have on the underlying sketch. And that's not a good way to go. Then little things like this, probably this straight line is not helping the overall flow of the character. So I'm just gonna go in and I don't even know how this is gonna look later, but it's a good start. You see now I have like a little bit more fluid curve. Then I have awkward things like this. You see this double, okay, give me this double curve. It's kind of reading a bit weird, so I can probably, yeah, I know it's about the hair, but I can probably do something about this in this state. I just like to find ways to keep things interesting for me because it's really easy to go down the rabbit hole of just focusing on a single aspect of a drawing. And then when you move to the next step, you realize a lot of quote unquote mistakes that are really not helping the drawing. I also like to look at the outside shapes and think like, okay, is this really helping? And most of these characters is just like really round, curvy, flowy shapes. So like having these super harsh angles on a point that has no interest for the character because it's just the shoulder is probably not ideal. So these are all of the things that I like fixing in this stage. And then I will go and clean up the liner on top of like respecting this silhouette. Even things like this is just creating a kind of triangle, but it's breathing kind of awkward to me because it's not really helping the pose. Although it's nice to keep a little bit of negative shape inside the silhouette because all these could be completely filled up. And yeah, it still works, but it makes everything, it turns everything into a blob. But this way, just by leaving this little triangle here, I'm already, just with the silhouette, I'm already showing that, hey, there is actually an arm here and this is the body. So I think that's kind of cool. So since this is not really a mask, it's just a graphic step in the process, I can afford to keep things a little bit dirty. Like I don't have to worry about making this perfectly clean. I could make it, but I feel like in a way it's gonna affect my decision making because I'm gonna grow a bit more attached to particular shapes if I spend a lot of time cleaning them up and making sure they're nice and tidy. But this way I'm more likely to just change a shape or delete it or fill it up because I don't feel so attached to it. It's probably not the most efficient process, but I feel like it helps me. Give me a second. Oh, I didn't even save this file. Miggy Pal, hello, how are you? Sorry I'm not talking earlier and say hi to see you drawing, brother. I'm here since 30 minutes ago. Oh, that's totally fine. I understand that people just log in and show up just to have something in the background. Like, there is no obligation to talk or interact with me. It's just, this is an art stream after all. But yeah, I appreciate you being here. Mm. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm doing something way out of my regular comfort zone. I'm working on a character commission, but so far it's being fun. It's a lot better than I expected. Okay, how am I gonna call this? Gonna pose cleanup. Yeah, I'm just trying to go back to my regular, if I can call it that, regular streaming schedule, or at least streaming regularly. Because I took some time off and it was kind of hard to go back into the habit. But I feel like I'm getting more comfortable with sharing more and more steps of my process without worrying too much about the streaming part. Delete all this. No, I feel like it's cool, but doesn't make much sense. I'm kind of in a rush lately. In these 2 weeks, I made 13 character sheets out of 14 for my webtoon project. Well, that's pretty awesome. That is pretty awesome. Have you posted anything about your webtoon project, or you're still just working on it? Because whenever you post something, I would love to see it. Man, 13 character sheets in 2 weeks. That is a lot. Less sleep. Yeah, figure that. Also, I'm done with my journey to find the perfect art style for me. Like for the past 10 years, finally find finish line to find the art style. Oh, I see. That's interesting. See, you will post it, but still preparing content for both YouTube and Instagram. I think it's always cool to share personal projects. For whatever reason, it hits different. Like, I feel like people react differently to it if it's just a really personal, interesting project. Like, you can tell the difference when something is just content or it's actually something someone cares about. And even if you don't get a lot of traction, just some people reacting to it, it feels a lot more personal and interesting. But yeah, regarding to art style, I feel like even if you feel like, which is a good feeling, even if you feel like you just found your art style, probably as long as you keep working on your webtoon, you're gonna be changing that art style constantly. And the same goes for character designs as well. Like, I don't know how much experience you have with webtoon or making comics, but for me, I feel like whenever I've made a comic, I feel like I have to draw the character in the page within the context of the story to actually commit to some sort of character design traits. Because a lot of things like may work on a character sheet on the vacuum, but then when you start putting that character in the page in the world, you realize a lot of things don't work, or you actually don't like drawing those parts of the character. So it's a really weird process overall. Because every part of the process can become its own art style. Designing characters on a character sheet, it's own form of art style. But then using those characters in an actual comic book, it's a completely different story. But yeah, make sure you share that with me whenever you share it. Agree. I don't make it for likes or attention, but I make it to tell people my story and make my characters alive and people welcome them as part of their life. That's why I'm not in a rush. Yeah, I think that's the good way to do it. That's the secret formula that most people try to replicate without realizing that it has to be like that for real. It's not a formula, it's not a trick. It's a real thing. I think it's one of the biggest misconceptions of nowadays and AI and productivity. The fact that people really don't want to put the effort. People don't care about making the thing, they just care about the results the thing is going to give them. And the problem of that is that if you don't believe it's worth making, no one's going to believe that it's worth reading or watching or consuming, or I don't even like the word consuming. Fucking hate the word content and consumer. Just all based in productivity. But yeah, if something it's not worth drawing, it's probably not worth watching. It's as simple as that. Because if I chase likes and how many content I produce, I can't keep up with AI and other artists that use AI or drama to make them famous. Yeah, like there is always been a degree of generating cloud around the artist world, but that should never be the main point. Yeah, this part would be, this is, probably can skip all this. So I feel like all this part is not really helping. Probably be something like, it's a lot bigger actually. The reference way bigger than this. My goal is just I want at least people know my story and that I exist in this world. Isn't that the main reason to make art ever? Like, here I exist. That's why we draw. Is that Bunny your original character? No, this is Elluna from a from a video game. It's just a character commission that someone asked me to do, and I thought it'd be fun to just share the process on the streams. So it's a character from a video game, and I'm not familiar at all with this art style, but I think it's still fun. Try and make it. Can merge this feed with this to create a more unified. Do you have some drawing that make you not comfortable to draw in to draw it from commissions? You have some drawing. I don't really understand the question. Like, I don't know if this is what you mean, but like I've been doing a bunch of different sketches for the commission that are like I'm not gonna. I mean, I'm gonna share all of these with the person that made the commission, but most of these ones are not gonna be developed, and I'm not gonna. I don't know. I'm just being happy to share like the sketches and the process and the thinking behind it. More like I'm not comfortable in the sense that I'm not I'm not familiar with drawing stylized characters. I mean, like, did you ever felt I don't like to draw this kind of art, but I still have to do it because of commission for someone? Uh, oh yeah, I know what you mean. Like, uh, yeah, it happens. It happens all the time because it's a weird middle ground to be in. Because you get a commission, it means that you're gonna make some money, and that's always cool. But at the same time, it's maybe something you don't want to draw for whatever reason. So yeah, I've been there. Like, and I've even canceled some commissions. Like, started working on a sketch and being like, no, I'm not enjoying this, or it's going to take me a lot longer than I thought, so I'm not going to be able to make it for the money I'm asking. So I just cancel. And most of the times I just don't take commissions for that reason, because I'd rather prioritize drawing whatever I want to draw over, you know, getting the quote unquote job done. Because commissions don't even pay that well, because you're just charging particular individuals that are working with their own money to quote unquote hire you. So it always feels wrong to charge a lot of money for a commission. Though probably some people would be willing to pay it. It's not the same as charging a company that has a budget to hire you and pay you not even good money, but decent money to compensate for the amount of time you're going to be working on it. But in this case, I know the person that commissioned this for me would be happy to just get whatever I want to give them. So I'm just taking it more like a personal challenge of, okay, let's see if I can pull this off. Let's see if I can actually enjoy the process of this and get this character done. And so far, I've been enjoying the abstract shape design part of the process. Over the last few months, I've been learning to take things to my comfort zone in a way, even if it's something way outside of what I usually do. I try to approach it in a way that is familiar to me, because I do enjoy abstract drawing and painting a lot. And by abstract, I mean doing something like what I'm doing now, that it's just, I'm not thinking about, oh, these are the ears, this is the head, this is the hair. I'm just thinking purely in shape design form. I find this really enjoyable. And if I can translate this into, I can translate this into anything. It can be a character, it can be logo designs, it can be, like prints or my own paintings, it can be graphics, it can be letters for a poster. If I manage to translate it into this realm, then it becomes something enjoyable for me. And I feel like that's key to surviving in this art world. Because a lot of the times, like, the part we enjoy of the process is not what we think it is. And if you can discover that about yourself, it opens up a lot of possibilities and freedom. Because then no matter what people ask from you, it always becomes what you want to do. But also that doesn't mean that I have my own personal projects that I prefer to work on. And it's important to be mindful of giving creative energy and space to those projects, because it's really easy to burn all your creativity into someone else's project and then you don't have juice for your own thing. Here, it's going here. Yes, for everyone is different. Some people just have a very particular style and enjoy doing certain things, and that thing for whatever reason happens to be popular, and they just get to do their own thing regardless of it being a commission or not. And I don't know if that's something that people develop willingly, or I would assume that for some people it just kind of happens naturally. Hard to tell. Should have saved. Uh, should have probably saved the original shape just to see how much it changed. Would have been good. Yeah, I feel like this is reading a lot better. E. Oh, music would be great. Yeah, I know you're right. I just woke up and I felt like having coffee and some silence because that's usually how I like to work. But I understand that for the stream is probably better to have some music. Could probably find something. Hmm. Let me see. Put on headphones because I don't want the music going in through the microphone. Do not play music. I follow you on both. Oh, I see. Mickey Pal is now on Twitch too. Thanks for the follow. Let's see. Let's find some music. How do I feel like? Let's put something chill. Be the little flaps. I just find it interesting how music can totally change the way you draw. At least for me. That's why I most of the times prefer to not have music, because I feel like it influences me too much. For some instances it can be good, but other times it's like maybe too much. It's hard to explain. What am I missing here? Yeah, there is this bit of the rope originally sent down here. I feel like it's gonna work better if it goes this way. Sort of like an echo of this own shape. Okay, so now, since this doesn't really work for me, I'm gonna duplicate it. I'm just gonna put it up here as a little reference. Create a clipping mask. Just separate some elements. Doesn't really matter what colors I'm using right now. It's more of a putting everything somewhere. Do a quick shape for the face. Is it a Japanese game? Probably not. I think it's an American game. I think... Let me type it for you so you can search it. Yeah, the character is called Elluna and the game is called Superbye. I would assume it's an American game, but yeah, the character itself is Japanese style inspired. It's wearing like this sort of, not kimono, but kind of clothing. Then again, like this step is... You like this character? Yeah, it's a pretty popular character. It's a cute character. Oh, in this step I'm also just... It's almost like a mask. I'm just filling up the materials or like the different parts of the character with a different color, just to again have a good graphic read of every single part. Here I'm just filling up the face and I'm trying to make this shape interesting. I'm trying to make, like, you know, every single part a good shape on its own. Like if I can just look at this shape on the abstract and be like, okay, is this a cool shape? Is this doing this and I like it or not? How do I, you know, I don't think so much of this as being a face. I just think of this as a pure shape that I wanna make look cool. I and you. Good morning, sir. You are the one to blame for all this happening. And also this works a little bit like a clown mask. I think that's how it's called on 3D, where I just separate the materials. Like it doesn't matter what color it is, because I'm not technically painting with the final colors. I'm just using colors to separate materials. So now every part that it's skin, I'm gonna use the same color, and it doesn't matter. Like this could be like literally any color. It could be green, it could be whatever you want, you know. It just, like, the idea is to just get clean shapes for each one of the elements here. And this is gonna help me place the line art on top, because I could just go right now on top of this and start sketching the line art here, but if I do this extra step, it's gonna help me. I'm already gonna have a base for the shapes of every single part, and I could go as deep as making the eyes and every single detail like this, and then it becomes like a painting. But for now I'm just gonna keep it as simple as I can. Okay, I noticed there were some weird Yeah, I didn't erase this. The one to thank. Okay, it's another way to put it. The publisher is Tencent. I think it's Chinese-based game. Oh, I see. Yeah, Chinese games are getting really popular. Like, they're growing a lot these days, so it makes sense. I'm just not familiar with the game at all. Like, first time I heard of the character, it's because of the commission. But it does make sense, it's a Chinese game. It especially helps in areas like this, in the feet and all that. It's not that important, but in areas where things overlap, like the face or this hand over here, I think it's a good opportunity to just make these quick shape design choices, because then that's going to help me a lot with the line art. Riot Games employees, I'm pretty sure it does feel like a little bit of a Riot game. Just checked it just a moment ago when you typed the name of character you're drawing. I see. Well, it probably has to do with the delay in the chat or the stream. Probably something is slightly faster than something else. I think there is a slight delay in the overall stream. Probably the chat is just faster. Or maybe just everything is fake. I'm not a real human. I'm not drawing. Or I have superpowers and I can type with my left hand while I'm drawing. This kind of works. Color. I'd always delay in YouTube and Twitch, but YouTube more like have delay like 5 to 7 seconds. Yeah, I feel like YouTube is the one that has the most delay compared to other platforms. It's also the one that offers more quality, so you can stream at a higher bitrate in YouTube than in many other platforms. That makes sense, I guess. I think it's also because YouTube are a little bit more paranoid about you streaming things you shouldn't be streaming, so having a 5 to 7 seconds gives it a little bit of a buffer to cancel you or shutting you down before you show something you shouldn't be showing, I guess. Really? Yes, like in YouTube you can stream. I don't know what quality I'm streaming right now, but I feel like you can go a lot higher in terms of quality. Let me just double check, but I think, if I'm not mistaken, that I'm streaming at the same quality, like at the same resolution of my screen right now, which is like 2K. Yeah, like my YouTube stream is at 1440p at 60 frames per second, but the Twitch one is just like 1080, I think. That's one of the main reasons for me to also use YouTube as my main platform. Because if I'm drawing like with big shapes like this, it doesn't really matter, but if I'm drawing like a sketchy line art like this, and then you reduce the resolution, you're not gonna get to see much. Twitch seems more comfy. Yeah, if you're used to using Twitch, like it's the main platform for streaming, so it makes sense that it feels more comfy. Also, it has better features for making your stream process more enjoyable. I'm just multi-streaming everywhere just to see what works. But so far I seem to be getting more attention on YouTube. So yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna keep multi-streaming for a while, just to see what works or what doesn't. These little pieces. YouTube seems to encourage small channels compared to Twitch. I found your channel in my feed. Yeah, I feel like that's what I've been feeling as well in my side. Like, I get more random people showing up in my YouTube channel than in Twitch. So in a way, it feels like the algorithm on YouTube is being a little bit more helpful to me, in the sense of just finding organic viewers. A lot of people just show up here like, hey, I got this recommended in my feed out of nowhere, but I kind of like it, so probably like the algorithm is a bit more specialized. And I feel like most people on Twitch are there just for the gaming, but people on YouTube are here for multiple reasons. We're gonna fix this. It'll be easier for me to work on things. Yeah, and I'll have little things like these. I probably want to correct. Like I can do the same for the hair, and so probably it goes about here. Side too. Well, I think you get the drill of the process. It's just like treating every individual shape as its own little design challenge, and then finding things that don't quite make sense and bending them. It's Spider Girl Thursday for me. Let's see. Doing a character study with the method you talked about yesterday on one of my favorite art pieces. Hell yeah, that's the way to go. I feel like that method is so liberating because you stop worrying about drawing and you're just concerned about understanding. And ideally, that's one of the best definitions for drawing. Drawing is basically understanding. The more you understand about what you're drawing or what you're seeing, the easier it's going to be to draw and the better the drawing is going to look because other people are also going to be able to understand what's going on. Okay, this kind of works. And now I would probably put all these on a folder and lower the opacity. I could just probably push all these a lot further, but I'm getting tired and I'm gonna go for lunch. But before I do that, I want to do a quick sketching path. I'm gonna just lower the opacity of these. And again, the same way as when I was doing the silhouette, I'm not tracing my previous drawing. I'm not gonna use all these lines as a perfect guideline and something I should just follow. This is just gonna be something to have as a reference point, but I'm going to allow myself to, you know, make lines wherever I feel like they should go. This is just gonna be an indication for the main flow of the lines, like these little curves here, this curve, this curve. All this is in a way abstractly designed. I'm going for this kind of spiral shape. If you can see this, like this is what's happening inside my head actually. I'm just focusing on all these flows. Like even this, you see, like there is almost like this is a centerpiece and all this is kind of going out. Then I contrast a little bit this shape with an opposing one, but it also kind of keeps going here and here. So, and if I remove this, all this is just abstract lines, but they all have like a center point and kind of a flow to it. That's why all these steps are kind of important to me, because that way all that is implied in my underlying sketch, and then when I work on the line art I can just focus on making quality lines. And here there is also another kind of curve that we could stretch all the way here, and then an opposing curve. At least this is the way I like to draw things. I'm obsessed with creating these little spirals everywhere. We are adding Spider-Girl to the lightning bolt? You mean the animation? That would be a huge improvement. Yeah, you totally have to. It's a must. And this is a process that I can repeat over and over. I could finish this line art and then do a silhouette of that line art and reshape and then do another line art on top of that. It's just like, it can be endless. At some point I'm gonna call it done and move on, but find all these little corrections to be really satisfying. Every time you do it, you gain something, but you're probably also losing a little bit in the process. You have to do something again to regain it. Face feels like it would be squishy and soft. Like jello in a wine glass. Squishy face. Did I get more subscribers? Or just you? The number changed? I have no idea. I'm really bad at keeping track of those things, so how would I know? Knowing myself, I'm probably losing subscribers. This goofy GIF animation is actually teaching me a lot more than I thought it would. Seems to be a theme nowadays. Like this commission is teaching me a lot more than I thought it would. Thought that after I finish animating each arc, I would be out of stuff to see, but now that I'm adding more to it, my brain is starting to understand how to organize big folders of layers and cells. Yeah, I've never dealt with that in animation because I've never done animation with multiple layers or backgrounds or VFX or anything like that. So I wouldn't know how to feel about it. But it does make sense. Looks like it should be bigger. Do you know Blue Sky's social media? I am aware of its existence and I have an account, but I have not posted anything yet or even used it that much. I've heard that it's like the old days, the good days of Twitter, if that's even a thing. Yeah, I feel like a lot of artists are using it since whatever happened with Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I wonder if it would be a good place to share my work. YouTube has a lot more audience than Twitch. Yeah, I don't know the numbers, but I'm pretty sure the variety is a lot bigger on YouTube because there is literally anything you can imagine on YouTube. Any sort of niche, there is a channel on YouTube and there is people looking for that content. In Twitch, I feel like it's mostly gaming. Sorry, I keep chatting both platforms. Oh, that's totally fine. I have a little widget to get all chats in the same window, so for me it doesn't really make a difference where the message is coming from. chat is just chat. This helps you get more viewers in both platforms. I guess it helps, but I'm fine with not getting views. I know there are lots of things I could be doing to try and get more views. So I'm just happy to share whatever I'm doing in any place and see what sticks. We be saving VODs. Yeah, that's something I've been thinking about lately. I should probably get into the habit of just talking and explaining things even if there is no one at the moment. Because you never know when someone is going to be watching the VOD. My art is fantastic. Yes, it's alright. Art is just art. It's good in many forms. And is probably covering this part. Be making this a lot tighter, but fuck it. I feel like sketching loosely now. These earrings should be probably a lot higher. think I'm just gonna rush this because I wanna finish, quote unquote, this sketch before I go for lunch. I feel like this doesn't really help. This way, maybe? Oh boy, let's see. I hope I don't have a long day. Anyways, I gotta go to the long day factory work. Alright, and also Miggy Pal, by the way, gotta go. As usual, great drawing, and thank you for having me in your stream. Thank you for being in my stream. You're always welcome here. Alright, I guess it's a good opportunity to finish this up and also leave to have my lunch. Okay, might be getting somewhere with this. Quite happy with this sketch. I'm gonna go for lunch. Probably I'll be back tomorrow cleaning up this sketch. So thanks everyone for being here and see you next time.